Welcome, welcome. Today's going to be a maha kirtan, so just the one, but a long one. So grab your kartalas, your mridanga, and just sing along and enjoy. And this is in honor of Aindra Prabhu, who is in the mood of chant and dance, who is very much in the Caitanya Mahaprabhu mood. So we just had Gaura Purnima, the birth of Caitanya, recently, a couple of days ago, and so let's all immerse in singing God's holy names. Hare again together. Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Ki
ki
Jai.
great kirtan acharyas like Aindra Prabhu.
Ki
Jai.
Jai. All glories to everybody. Las mejores vibras para todos.
So lovely to have you guys with us. This is our spiritual practice and we love to share it with you. And part of this spiritual practice is that it's congregational. So whatever that means in any time in history and right here, right now, that means we can congregate virtually by multiple methods. And it might take a little more kind of nuance, but I think there's something to be said for exercising new muscles. So we're used to hanging out in person, and it's great, and I love it, and I don't want to change that. So, you know, in the Vedas, they talk about Vani and Vapu. So Vapu is the physical presence of the Guru, right? But Vani is when the physical presence is not there, but the message and the teachings and the practice are there. So it's really good for us to exercise this mood of in person, not in person. It just sort of exercises another spiritual muscle. I want to welcome everyone from Yogalution in Long Beach, California, and anyone else who might be joining us from around the world.
Yes, thank you to our friends on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice to see you as well.
We love to see you.
Yes.
And it sort of helps us to feel connected to you too. Through Facebook and YouTube, we see numbers, but we don't see names and people. So if you want to join us via Zoom, please email us at krishnakirtanmusic@gmail.com. Tell us a little bit about you and why you want to join, and we're happy to expand our private community just to keep it sacred. But everyone's welcome. We just want to get to know you a little better.
So that email is right here on the screen below. It's krishnakirtanmusic@gmail.com.
And so we want to talk today a little bit about, normally we would do a kirtan sandwich where we start with a kirtan, then we talk about the rag that the kirtan is in and perhaps a pastime that's appropriate for this time of year. And then we end with a kirtan really meditating on the rasas associated with that rag and the rasas associated with whatever might be happening, whether it's Gaura Purnima or Holi or Janmashtami or Maha Shivratri or whatever it might be. We talk a bit about that. But today's kirtan went on a little bit longer because it was a melody inspired by Aindra Prabhu, who he's modern history. He was born, I think, in 1953, and he passed about 10 years ago. So when he was very young, he met his guru, whose name was A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, and at a young age he visited India, and he came back, and then he returned, and he started up. He didn't invent. What he did was he popularized the art of 24-hour kirtan. So nowadays, no matter what temple you go to, and we're talking in the West, because in India, of course, maha kirtan melas are always happening. But in the West, it wasn't very well known. And when he first went to Vrindavan, he started chanting and singing kirtan for like 16 or 18 hours a day, and he was on his own. And he would put payals or ankle bells on to create the sound of the ching 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 of the kartalas, and he would play his harmonium. And if there was like a passing Baba, he would say, "Hey, come over and play mridanga," and he or she might say, "Oh, I don't know how many." Say, "It doesn't matter, just hit, dum dum dum, just hit, dum dum dum." And so with those humble beginnings is how Aindra started the maha kirtans going on in Vrindavan. And of course it was so attractive. Very quickly this grew until it was such a mainstay of people visiting Vrindavan. They would go and join Aindra's maha kirtans with, as you can see, all the pictures with people in it. And this is Aindra Prabhu. He was just a regular guy, born in, I think, Arlington, Virginia, probably near the headquarters, the FBI headquarters. And he was born into a family of musicians. I think he was a guitarist, but he chose to dovetail his inspirations into his spiritual path. And he was really in the mood of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who just recently, just a few days ago, had a birthday, appearance day, the festival is called Gaura Purnima. So this is, you may have noticed the big, beautiful golden moon that was very full just a few days ago. And this is the birth time of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who even in secular texts is described as a very influential, charismatic saint from the 15th century. He was born in 1486 and only lived for 48 years. The first 24 were his householder life, but the last 24 years he spent this time traveling. The second half of his life was spent traveling. The last 10 years he spent in Puri, where Jagannath is well known from Puri, the beautiful deity of Jagannath with the wide eyes and the big smile and the sort of short limbs, right? Even in Odissi dance, there are two main stances. There's the chauk position, right? And then there's also the shrifold bending form, right? So these are the two stances from Odissi, which is a style of dance from Orissa. And this deity of Jagannath is a snapshot of God in ecstatic separation. So one time Krishna was overhearing his stepmother they had all met at Kurukshetra it was a very auspicious time to bathe, and Krishna was outside a tent hearing his relatives from Vrindavan discuss his childhood pastimes, and he was just transported into an ecstatic state, and his eyes expanded and his limbs contracted and his neck contracted. And so this deity form of God is a sort of a rendition of him in ecstatic separation. And his brother was with him, Balaram, and got a contact high, and he started displaying symptoms, and Subhadra, his sister, also got a contact high and started experiencing ecstatic separation. And so these are the Jagannath deities. So Caitanya Mahaprabhu also, on rare occasion, his intimate associates were able to see him reveal these ecstatic symptoms as well. So in the Vaishnava literature, he is known as an avatar of God. Avatar means to come down. And so he is an avatar, but he is a chana avatar. He's a secret avatar. And the reason for that is that he did not want to bring attention to himself per se. He wanted to bring in attention to the teaching of Harinama Sankirtana, which is all these kirtans you see when you go to various, you go to Yogalushan and you see a kirtan, or you go to, Shivananda Center and you see a kirtan. Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach the congregational chanting of God's names. Not just one name, many God's names. He did say the maha mantra is very potent. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam. Kalu naseva, naseva, naseva gatiranyita. Chant the holy names, chant the holy names, chant the holy names. There's no better way, no better way, no better way in this age of Kali. So we have to look at this in context when we say no better way. He was just speaking contextually in this Kali Yuga, where some people find it very easy to sit in one position for hours at a time, meditating personally, my legs go, one reason why I have my leg up is it kind of goes dead after 15 minutes, and then I have to punch it, and then I get up and I can't even walk. So for me, just sitting cross-legged in silent meditation is not so easy, and my mind goes here, there, and everywhere. So for me, kirtan is perfect because it engages my mind, engages my body. I can get up and dance as well. You don't have to sit down. The harmonium, this is a new invention. The mridanga is designed for kirtan. You get up and you dance and you twirl around with the mridanga. The kartalas, these are really perfect instruments. Harmonium is nice because it carries the melody, and so anything that helps your practice, you can include, right? So Caitanya Mahaprabhu had two reasons, or an internal and an external reason for appearing. His external reason was to teach the Yuga Dharma, or a great method of yoga practice for this age, and that was congregational chanting and dancing of God's holy names. His inner reason for coming down, for being an avatar, is God is also known as Rasaraj, the king of taste, the king of rasa, right? And he likes to taste relationships. Everything we do in life is because we're looking for rasa. Everything we do, we're either moving towards pleasure or we're moving away from pain. And so God is Rasaraj, the king of taste. He, in many incarnations, has been able to taste dasya rasa, or the mood of servitude where people are worshipping him. Oh yes, God, not gonna get God mad because he can smite me. He also, as Krishna, experienced Vatsalya Ras. What is it like to experience the love of care from a parent or from an older brother? Madhurya Ras, the Shringara Ras, the pleasure of divine love, he experienced with the highest bhakti yogis, the gopis, right? He experienced Sakya Ras, friendship with great bhakti yogis, the gopas, in Vrindavan. But in this manifestation of Lord Brahma, because the material world comes into existence and comes out of existence regularly, in this particular manifestation, he had not come to taste what it is like to relish the love from the side of the yogi. So he comes as Caitanya Mahaprabhu to relish the mellows of Radha's love and of the bhakta's love for Krishna. And so he got to taste. It's kind of like if you're eating a piece of cake and the cake wants it to know what it's like to be relished. So God took the other position to see what that mellow is like, because it's described that Radharani's love, the goddess of love, her love for Krishna is 10 million times sweeter in taste than Krishna's love for Radha. So she's getting the good deal. So Chaitanya wanted to experience that. So there are always multiple reasons for the things we do, and there were multiple reasons for Chaitanya's appearance. How do we know in a world where this person's an avatar, that person's an avatar, oh yes, it's kind of cheap these days. We can say everyone's God, and we are sparks of God, but every now and again there are really divine beings that come down. And so how do we know? So even in the times of Buddha and Jesus and other divine personalities, there are certain symptoms. The first symptom is the astrological formations, what planets are where, and this will say, even, there was a special star when Jesus was born. So there are configurations, astronomical configurations that sort of denote, divine personality coming down. There are also markings on the body. So in the same way we might go to a palmist who can say how deep our lifeline is, how long our lifeline is, how our, whether we may have children or not, or how our wealth line is, things like that. Divine personalities have markings on their hands and feet, and so here are some, and these have multiple meanings, multiple marks and multiple meanings, these different divine markings. So we have the half moon, and this is honestly, we don't have time to go into them. But if you want to, you can email and we'll go into that, or write in the comments and we'll go over some of the markings. And then there's also, what do other sadhus and other acharyas say? Is it confirmed by other really exalted saints and sages of the time? Is it foretold in the scripture? Divine personalities are always foretold. And then lastly, you want to see some extraordinary activities. So certainly ecstatic symptoms of limbs disappearing, these are ecstatic symptoms. And also you want to see the effect somebody had hundreds of years later or thousands of years later. Have you still inspired a whole group of people to take from your path and follow, not to worship you as God, but to follow your instruction, And so to this day, millions of people, when he was alive, followed Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and millions of people today still follow in the same way that you see other spiritual leaders. So it's really beautiful. You can actually ascertain who might be a divine personality or not. So that was a few days ago, the appearance day of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And why I think Aindra is relevant is because he really took on the mood. He really took on the mood of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He was really inspired to do kirtan most of his waking day, inspired other people in their kirtan practice, and he was not the world's best singer. He was not the world's best musician. He was a good singer, he was a good musician. He wasn't the most learned in classical Indian music at all. But he really showed and inspired by example how to immerse in kirtan bliss. So my teachers, I don't know where I would be without my teachers. And so we look to these people and we say, thank you. Thank you for teaching us, and inspiring us on our path.
Yes. It's so inspiring. And I want to just thank you all for joining us tonight in 7 p.m. Los Angeles, and for just being here. I want to invite you to set up your Kirtan alarm for next week at 7 p.m. Los Angeles time. And if you have any questions, please put them on the comments below. And I want to ask you, Shri, is there any, do you want to go over the actual raga?
Do you think we should?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, because this is kind of relevant too. This particular melody is in a rag called Kafi Raag. Kafi is both a tat and a rag. A tat is a scale. So they were kind of arranged into 10 tats, 10 scales, and each scale has dozens of rags, so resulting in many hundreds and hundreds of rags. And so Kafi is both a scale and a rag itself. So some tats and rags are very, very ancient, very specific. They must be sung a certain way. The movements and the alankars, the ornamentations must be done. Kafi is a very forgiving rag. They actually call it a Shudra rag. It's for the laity. And historians look back to where to see the first mention of Kafi Raag was, and it was thought that it made its first appearance in writing in the 15th century by a court musician of the Kandwala dynasty called Lochana Das, and which is a different Lochana from Chaitanya's pastimes. And he was in the court, and he wrote a rag Tarangini, so that's where Kafi is first mentioned. The scale has 2 flat notes, so let's go through it. Sarega, It is Sampurna Sampurna, 7 notes up, 7 notes down. So unlike other rags that might be missing like 5 up, 7 down, this is all notes up, all notes down. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa re la pa ma ga re sa. One quick pointing out. So we approach ga from ma. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa re la pa ma ga re sa. One more time. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa sa re la pa ma ga re sa. The vadi, or the most important note, is pa, which, so sometimes we take a breath at pa, or we pause at pa if you need to take a breath. The time of day for this rag is, it's a nighttime rag, second prahar of the night, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And when we sang this melody, the first part that was in Tijra, which was in 3/4, we sang it very much honoring the flat ga and the flat ni, komal ga, komal ni. All the rest are natural, shuddha swaras. But in the second half of the melody, when we went into 4/4, we started including natural ga, shuddha ga, and natural ni. Oh no, we never did natural ni, but we did natural ga. So normally you would say, oh, so now I'm playing Mishra Kafi, mixed Kafi. But because Kafi is a rag for the laity, it's mostly mixed, the melodies you'll hear. And so it's sort of redundant to say it. All Kafi that we hear is Mishra. And what's beautiful about Kafi is that it's very prevalent in folk music, kirtan, bhajans, and having come around in the 15th century, around the time of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, when Lochana was first writing, he was writing in his native tongue of Maithili, but at this time Brij Bhasa was becoming very popular in West Bengal, and then he switched over and started writing in Brij Bhasa, and Brij Bhasa was becoming very popular because Caitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing and sharing all the pastimes about Krishna, who is from Vrindavan, which is Braj. So, and Aindra's in the mood of Braj and Caitanya Mahaprabhu chanting. So it felt like a natural fit to do Kafi melody, inspired by Aindra Prabhu.
The 24-hour kirtan.
24-hour kirtan,
Yes.
around the time of Gaura Purnima. And so hopefully we've sewn them all together.
Yes, yes.
It's
And-
nice to have that association.
And once again, if you have any questions, please type them on here on the comment below on YouTube and on Facebook, as well here on Zoom. And we really want to invite you to keep joining us, especially on Zoom, because we get to see you. And it's really, really inspiring to see you singing. And I think that's it for today.
I want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
There's so much to say. This is why I didn't get into the markings, because there's so much to say. Every rag has a rasa, maybe at least one. And the predominant rasa here is Shringara, or divine love. So when we sing the Maha Mantra, when we sing our mantras in this melody, we try to meditate on the divine love between Krishna and Radha and all the divine love that permeates the spiritual world, and we bring that into our own life and hopefully into the dealings with each other. And so it's a beautiful meditation to have.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
Again, thank you for joining us. We love you, and thank you for sharing our spiritual practice. If you love what we do, you can support us through patreon.com/Krishna Kirtan Music, or at paypal.me/Krishna Kirtan Music. But just know you're always welcome to come. We love having you guys, and it's given with love by donation, but with love.
Yes, we also have the Venmo account at Krishna Kirtan Music. And once again, please email us, and we will love to also send you this link that is on the screen, which is our YouTube link. Our email is krishnakirtanmusic@gmail.com, and this link is so that you can listen to all these different versions of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We are on a goal to record 108 different versions. Today was Kafi, and we are right now already on version 16. So we will love for you to enjoy this playlist. As you see on the screen is youtube.com/c/Krishna
And this
Kirtan Music.
kirtan, we have a version of it too.
Yes.
It's a funny one. It's from Christmas time, where we're all wearing masks and we're wearing Christmas hats. So you'll also get a good laugh out of it.
Yes, it's very sweet. So thank you once again for joining us, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. We
7
love you.
p.m.
For those of you on Zoom, please stick around so we can go over any questions that you may have from today's pastime or the Kafi Raag.
And we have a
Thank you.
treat for next week.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
what
it's a
what's
real
for
treat.
next week?
Well, it's also going to be in 3/4, but it's from a beautiful song, Shama Sundar, Madana Mohana, and we'll put in easy lyrics, but it's such a sweet melody, such a sweet melody. Can't wait for it.
Yes, I heard it today. I think you are up for a treat. And yes, please put your kirtan alarm for 7 p.m. Los Angeles time, okay? We love you and have a good day. Hare Krishna.